What's up, everybody? Welcome to K&J Studios. It's your boy Jay.
It's your girl Kaya.
Okay, no, you were too slow. You were too slow. Get in rhythm. Get in rhythm. You okay? You
good.
awake? You
Yes.
feeling all right? Okay. Now let get it.
Okay.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to K&J Studios. It's your boy Jay.
It's your girl Kaya.
And today we have Star Wars.
We have some good news. Y'all. It's about to be lit. Wow.
Get in for it.
Alright, you guys, so today we have quite a bit of information to give you guys concerning, the Star Wars franchise. They are really about to do some big things.
They going dumb.
And, we have all the updates for all the series and stuff that have been announced. We're going to be doing updates on these shows.
Alright, so we have the Mandalorian Season 3, the Book of Boba Fett, Obi-Wan Kenobi, Ahsoka Tano, Rangers of the New Republic, the Bad Batch, Star Wars Crimson Reign series have all been announced.
Yep.
So they basically pull in like a Marvel, like when it was like, Hawkeye, Loki and
and they're coming out. They're coming like back to back, but like there's a little bit of space in between for each one. Alright. So what we know about the Mandalorian so far as release dates and all that good stuff. The Mandalorian star Carl Weathers.
Now I don't like to call him Carl Weathers. He's always gonna be Apollo Creed to me.
Y'all already know. If you guys know that, you guys have to know the Rocky movies. Y'all know who he is.
Like,
He's
that's
literally
not.
legend.
They're like Carl Weathers. You mean Apollo Creed? Yeah, Apollo.
Who starred as Grief Karga. Okay. He confirmed that the Star Wars series.
Today, guys. She's not on it today.
He confirmed that the Star Wars series is actually starting to film next month. So you guys, they're starting to film next month, and everybody's been anticipating this series. So I'm really excited to know that they're actually going to start their filming.
Mandalorian was a huge hit. If there was any box office, come on, guys.
Yeah.
It was huge. If you haven't seen it, shame on you.
Yes, and if you guys did not know, he also helped to direct the series as well in certain parts, so he'll be helping to direct season 3 as well. If you guys didn't know what he actually helped direct on, he did chapter 12, The Siege. He did the 4th episode of Mandalorian in season 2, and he also did the 12th episode, like pretty much the whole episode of the 12th episode.
Yeah, they have multiple directors. Jon Favreau has been a revelation to the Star Wars series. Jon Favreau has come in and completely transformed the Star Wars franchise.
Imagine how exciting that is. Not only do you get to act in a movie, but you also get to help to direct.
Exactly.
That is an amazing opportunity to have.
And then on top of that, they put together an amazing cast that fits perfectly. You have Giancarlo Esposito, you got Pedro Pascal, who was great. I would have never thought to put him in that part, but he plays the part extremely well.
Right.
So and just to give you an idea as to how popular The Mandalorian was on IMDb, 8.8 out of 10.
That is really,
Rotten
really
Tomatoes, 93%, and 97% of Google users liked this TV show.
Can't even blame them. But you guys, there's a glare on my glasses. I'm sorry, y'all. It just comes with having bad eyes.
Comes with the territory.
But anyways, okay, so the release date. It was once believed that season 3 would arrive late this year, but now we're thinking that it would be sometime in 2022. All right, so as for the plot, so season 2 ended. They wrapped up the whole Baby Yoda thing. I know you didn't want to say that, but I'm gonna still say that. So basically, Luke Skywalker takes Grogu to
Grogu
for Jedi training. So that's how that ended, and now I think it's gonna shift more towards Mando's adventure. So we'll see where he goes from there. And going back a little bit, just a little.
Alright, so just sort of, now keep in mind it's going to have some spoilers in it. So at the end of last season, we saw the Mandalorian. Mando met Bo-Katan, who was on a mission to retake the DarkSaber and retake their home planet of Mandalore. But she got caught up with Mando, and Mando wound up getting the DarkSaber, and inadvertently becoming the leader of the Mandalorians. So ultimately, most likely what we're gonna see is Bo-Katan and Mando, now that Mando has possession of the Darksaber, going back to Mandalore and retaking the planet. So that's most likely going to be something
which is going to be something very exciting.
Because, I mean, people really forget the significance of the Darksaber. The reason why Mandalorians use the metal that they do to create their suits is because that's the only metal that lightsabers can't penetrate. Think of it like hyenas and lions. Jedi, that's the Jedi and the Mandalorian. They're natural enemies of each other. They hate each other. That's why Jango, I don't know if you've seen Star Wars Episode 2, where Obi-Wan Kenobi came in contact with Jango Fett. And Jango Fett cloned himself to create the clone troopers, which will ultimately be going up against the Republic. Right. So you have a natural sort of disposition or a hatred between each other. So they made their suits so that they can fight Jedi without getting chopped up. But the Darksaber can cut through the metal, can cut through their suits. So that's the significance of the Darksaber.
Just in case y'all didn't know. Moving on to the Book of Boba Fett. The second season ended with a post-credit scene teasing the Book of Boba Fett. So that was a big moment in the season finale, a really big moment. And the Book of Boba Fett, as a lot of you guys might know, is actually a spin-off. So the release date so far is supposed to, we're thinking maybe in December. It will definitely be out before The Mandalorian though. So it'll be out before The Mandalorian. And I feel like that's going to be so interesting, having them back to back like that. It's going to be really cool. And December really isn't that far away. So and Temuera, he did a really good job playing Boba Fett. Not just in The Mandalorian, but in the past as well. Because people don't realize he's been the one for a long time as the voice of Boba Fett, as well as playing Boba Fett for years. So Temuera has sort of always had like that sort of monopolization on his part. He's played it extremely well. This is really the first time that he's got to play it like live action in a long time. And y'all, he killed it like usual. He did his thing. So I can't imagine. I know he would, because he looked ready to take on his own part as the lead, as the main character of the show anyway. So I'm glad that we finally get to learn more about Boba. But one thing that a lot of people don't know is what makes Boba special. Even though he's technically a clone, but he's clone alpha. And what alpha means is that he was one of the first clones directly from Jango, meaning that he was unaltered. So that means everything in his head is organic. He was raised like a child, he was trained like a child, and he can make his own decisions, unlike other clones where they have the chip in their head that makes them behave a certain way or makes them complete orders or everything like that. So he's highly skilled in a lot of different areas. So he took up the mantle after Jango Fett's death. Jango Fett was known as the greatest and the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. He died. Boba Fett stepped up after being raised and trained by Jango. He came up after and became the best bounty hunter, built his reputation as the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. So that's what makes him particularly special. And I'm gonna keep that in mind, because we're gonna be going into that a little bit later when we talk about the Bad Batch. So that is actually very important, because we might, when we talk about more of like who is expected to be in the series, they might actually be, I'm not sure if they'll have them, I highly doubt that they'll actually put them in it, but I'm sure that there'll be references and stuff, because I believe that the Bad Batch is supposed to be around the same time, or at least like a little bit later. So like, I think that most likely they'll be referenced.
The Bad Batch is kind of coming directly off of what we saw in Star Wars Episode 3. So that was when the Empire really started to gain control of the galaxy, after they started killing the Jedis, killing the younglings. So there was a point to where they were thinking that there weren't any Jedis left. So you're looking at anywhere from that time till after till long after that. So it's you're not dealing too early in time, you're actually dealing pretty late. So you're sort of rocking in between that time period, which is why you see them talking to Rex in the Bad Batch. Spoiler, Rex is from Star Wars The Clone Wars, and he was sort of the captain for Anakin.
Right.
And Cody, who we saw in the first 3 Star Wars movies, was always the captain for Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Right.
And we see the Bad Batch, the group of the Bad Batch, talking to the Bad Batchers, as they call them, talking to Rex, who they idolize as a friend of theirs. And he's also been rid of his chip as well, so he's unaltered now as well. So we're looking at that time space. We're not looking too far in the future. It's actually like right off of what you would call the episode 3 era.
Right. So that's actually really exciting. I'm excited.
It's cool to see how everything's interwoven.
Right.
Like they've done a really good job, and I'm glad Jon Favreau, because Jon Favreau, a lot of people don't know, he did a lot of work directing and acting in Marvel. He played Happy in the MCU. So he knows how to set up a good story long term, and he knows how to put the right storylines in order. So, and he's doing that with Star Wars, which we haven't seen done in a long time.
Yeah. And so another person that we're expecting to see this season is Fennec Stans. So if you guys recall, in season 1, Boba Fett actually saved her, but at that time they didn't know. It wasn't until season 2 it was revealed that Boba was the one who saved her. So she teams up with him, and we're expected to see her in the series as well. So that would be a good team up to see how they work together and stuff like that. So that's a.
And how do we know? For those of us who've seen the Bad Batch, how do we know that they're living in around the same time period? Because Fennec Stans makes an appearance in the Bad Batch as a bounty hunter. So she actually makes an appearance in the Bad Batch.
Right.
And this is prior to her accident that Temuera, playing Boba Fett, saves her life.
Right.
So we're looking at the same. See how it all fits in?
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's crazy how they have a crossover between a live action show and an animated show, and you actually know that they're the same people because they're voiced by the same actors.
Right.
It's amazing.
It's pretty dope, you guys. So next up, we're talking about Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, as far as the status on this series, we're speculating that either they're already done with production or they're nearing that point because of the fact that a lot of the cast is already moving on to other projects, other jobs and stuff like that. So most likely they're keeping this very under wraps, you guys. They're not really giving us a lot of information at all.
Remember, I believe we made a video not too long back in January talking about how Ewan McGregor said that they would start filming in March. So it makes sense that around this time, since they were building actual sets, which I've been talking about with Star Wars, that being important, because the scenery in Mandalorian was great, because they actually built their sets instead of using green screen. So they actually built the sets for Obi-Wan Kenobi, which Ewan McGregor was so happy about. He was talking about it. He took a video of the posted on social media.
That's really awesome. Like it's dope.
It helps you get into the part. Like it helps you really like immerse yourself into the place where you're supposed to be or where you're at. So they built the sets and everything like that, and then they began filming I believe in March. So it makes sense that we're in early mid-August and they're wrapping up. That's what makes sense, and you would think that they would be, which puts them on schedule for maybe releasing it early in maybe in the first 3 or 4 months of 2022.
Right. So the release date is expected to be in 2022. That's what people are saying.
It's the right timeline. It's the time. It's right on schedule, is what it looks like to me.
Right. And so, so as far as the plot, Obi-Wan Kenobi is supposed to have one of the most pivotal climaxes in the Star Wars series. So the production, they're not giving out any information. They're keeping it very top secret. Like they're not playing with it at all. But if you guys are wondering what this particular climax is, it's supposed to be the epic rematch between Obi-Wan Kenobi and Anakin Skywalker, aka Ben Kenobi and evil Darth Vader, or just Darth Vader.
Now, see, if y'all don't remember what happened the first time they fought, Obi-Wan said, "Listen, Anakin, I got the high ground."
Anakin
tried it anyways, and he lost 4 fingers and a thumb. You gotta put the clip up there.
That was a very, like, everybody remembers.
Bro, it's the fact that he left him like a nub. Like he was, it was like
Alright, so who is playing Anakin, aka Darth Vader? Hayden Christensen will be reprising his role as Anakin. He'll be making a return. If any of you guys, of course, you guys who watch this, you know his part. You know what I'm saying? So it's really cool to see him return back to this. It's really cool. A lot of the fans are excited to see Christensen and Ed. You told me his name.
It's Ewan McGregor, guys.
Yeah, Ewan McGregor, and them kind of come together again after all these years and work together on this. So it's
and they were clearly excited about it.
Right.
I mean, over the years, Hayden's been sort of blacklisted from the industry after Star Wars. He wasn't a great actor. When you look at his ability back then, we were kids and we knew that the acting wasn't great. I was little and I was like, okay, this dude ain't, he's not exactly Tom Hanks or Denzel. Yeah. But I guess he'll cut it.
I mean, I guess they could have recasted the role, but...
I think that if you're bringing back Ewan, you have to bring back... It would only make sense. It would look weird if you brought in a different person. My hope is that it's been years. It's been over a decade.
Right. I would assume kid watching it, and now I'm 21 years old, so that's...
And the crazy part is that Ewan McGregor still looks the exact same as he did over a decade ago.
Right.
Like, he looks the exact same. But Hayden Christensen, the only question that I had prior to this is, okay, is he a better actor than he was over a decade ago? And I believe he is. I don't believe that they would bring him back if he hadn't taken steps as an actor.
Right. And so that's pretty much what we have on Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're excited about it.
That's probably the one that I'm most excited about. You knew how big of a fan I was of Obi-Wan Kenobi as a kid. I had like 3 or 4 of his toys straight up. Yeah. Like I had all the Star Wars toys. Like, you know what? They need to do a Mace Windu show too, because I want to know about this man's history. They need to do Qui-Gon Jinn, because he used to be a Sith. A lot of people don't know that Qui-Gon Jinn used to be a Sith. They got to do this stuff.
I completely agree.
There's so much like runway. There's so much stuff that you can do with the Star Wars universe, and that's why I'm glad that Jon Favreau is here to give the people what they want.
Indeed. All right, you guys. So next up is Ahsoka. Okay, so as for we're gonna.
She said it slow because she's been having trouble pronouncing.
Shut up. Wait, how do you say her name again?
Ahsoka, Micaiah. Okay. It's really easy.
Okay.
You're literally looking at it like.
I don't know why.
How else could you?
How else? So nervous.
Ahsoka. Why would it be Ahsoka?
Anyway, so the release date. Okay, so obviously it's supposed to come on Disney Plus. We all know that. And the release date is basically unclear, but it's most likely going to be sometime in 2022, since Boba Fett is coming out in December 2021. So you can definitely look forward to seeing more about that a little bit later. But I don't know about you guys, but this is actually one of the ones I'm really excited about because she's so dope. Like she's a really dope character.
They got the perfect actor in Rosario Dawson to play the part. I think that she has the perfect look. Only thing I didn't like, and I told you this, she doesn't hold her sabers like Ahsoka.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
And it's not right.
Honestly, I was saying I wouldn't know the difference. But apparently
it's completely different.
It's what makes her
unique. What makes her fighting style unique. When you put the pictures up there, they'll see it. It's completely different. It makes her fighting style different from like any other Jedi. Because first of all, it's rare that you see Jedis use double sabers.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? It's very rare. But the way that she holds them makes her fighting style like completely different, and it makes it really cool based off of like what you see. Now obviously they might have had her change the way that she holds the sabers because she can't quite do those techniques yet, because I understand that Rosario Dawson is new to this to like the combat aspect of Star Wars. I was like, wow, it's Ahsoka, and then she pulled out her lightsabers and I was like, who are you?
I don't even know who you are.
With it, but I was like, they're gonna be doing a TV show? Yes.
Yeah, that's much needed. I'm very excited about that.
Ahsoka was originally Anakin Skywalker's Padawan before he turned to the dark side. So that was his Padawan when he was Master Anakin Skywalker.
Right.
Or a General Anakin Skywalker as well. So that she was trained by him, and then when he went to the dark side, she sort of left the Jedi Order altogether, started doing her own thing, which is why she doesn't have her why she doesn't have her blue sabers or her green sabers, and she doesn't rock a red saber. The sabers that you saw her using in The Mandalorian were clear sabers. They were white sabers. So that's why it's a neutral color, not either one side or the other.
Right.
Gotta go to watch Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
That is essential.
You'll see her grow up from a child.
I would say definitely watch it before that series comes out if you're really interested in her story. So definitely check it out. All right, so the plot. We'll probably be seeing her hunting Grand Admiral Thrawn. All right, so he was last seen in the finale of the animated series Rebels, and which is set years before The Mandalorian. We don't know why she's after him, but we think in this series they'll really clear things up and show us exactly what's going on, why she's after this guy. And yeah, I think it'll be pretty interesting to see that. She's kind of has that topic has a lot of mystery behind it, so I'm really like interested to see like what exactly is going on.
And Grand Admiral Thrawn is like he's like ruthless. He's a beast. Like he's one of those villains that you that you sort of he's one of those villains that you have respect for because of how ruthless he is. You have to respect him as a villain. It's like, wow, this dude is really no joke.
Right.
Like, it's not, he doesn't fail often, but that's gonna make, and keep in mind, Ahsoka is also ruthless as well. Keep in mind, she was trained by Anakin Skywalker.
Yeah.
So she has a very ruthless and heated like fighting style. Like she's cutting off heads. That's the kind of fighter that she is.
Right.
So, we're gonna be able to see Thrawn versus Ahsoka Tano at some point. Hopefully in the series that'll make this show like, wow. Yeah. It's what is gonna mainly come down for me is who they cast as Thrawn himself.
Right.
That's what's gonna Grand Admiral Thrawn, his casting is gonna be really important. And we're supposed to be seeing Darth Maul too in one of these series as well. So he's gonna be making an appearance. We haven't seen Darth Maul since the Clone Wars, and we haven't seen him live action since the first Star Wars Episode 1 when he killed Qui-Gon Jinn.
Okay, so next up, Rangers of the New Republic. Okay, so this original series was set within the timeline of The Mandalorian. So who is supposed to be in it? We don't really know many details, but fans were speculating that it could be Marshall Cara Dune. But in February, as you guys might have known, because we covered this in a past video about the whole situation, but Gina Carano, she's no longer going to be having anything to do with the Star Wars projects because of that. If you want to know more about that, if you didn't hear about it, we'll link it up here and also in the description, just in case you don't know what went on. But basically, we thought that it would probably be like a show that she would be in, but apparently it doesn't seem like they're really we don't know what direction that they plan on going with in the future.
It's been shelved because she's off the table, so they got to figure out how exactly they're gonna set up the show. They're probably either redirecting it, revamping it, or they might recast the character.
Yeah, we're not sure if they're gonna recast or not,
Dune.
but they could end up recasting. But we definitely can't say whether or not this show would come out anytime soon. There's no release date at all, so
it most likely won't be anytime soon. Considering all the other projects that they have, there's no telling what other spinoffs they're working on. This one usually when something like this is shelved, it's most likely probably gonna be for a while.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a long time.
Okay, so next up is the Bad Batch. Okay, so I guess it's supposed to be the upcoming season 2.
Season 2.
We'll be talking about that. From what we know, isn't exactly tied to The Mandalorian. It's supposed to be set decades earlier in the timeline between Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope. So that's all we know so far. We think that it could also be a way that they reveal how the Mandalorians were kicked off of Mandalore. So that could be answered in this season. We look forward to seeing that. But honestly, that's all we know so far about it. But I mean, I guess that's enough to be excited about.
I mean, you have to watch the show. You have to watch the show. They're almost like what you would consider Navy SEALs or Special Ops or Black Ops. They're the ones that they call in, that the Empire would call in for special missions that they need sharpshooters. They have you know basically it's like a special ops group. They can handle any of the hard missions. They are unaltered, which means they are altered. They're just upgraded.
Right.
And they had their chips removed, so that way they can not be controlled by the Empire.
Right.
So basically they have free reign, same as Rex. And a couple of other clones that will be revealed hopefully soon in the future.
Right.
So since they don't have their chips, they can basically pretty much operate with free will, just like Boba Fett. Therefore, they have sort of the same skill set as Boba in a lot of ways, because Boba has a lot of he's a sharpshooter, he's the skilled fighter, bounty hunter, tracker. So all of those qualities that they have. Boba Fett possesses. So in a sense, they're sort of the same.
I think it's gonna be perfect because for a lot of Mandalorian fans, we really get to see what leads up to the point of Mando, and then also beyond that. So you going back and then reviewing that is very important because they never showed that before in any movie or anything. So I feel like this is essential and definitely very timely.
And it's extremely entertaining as well. You gotta watch because it also sheds a lot of light on the Empire's conquering of certain planets as well,
right?
And their almost global capture of these worlds, of these planets. And then on top of that, you also have, like I said, you have a lot of other cameos from other characters that show up in the show that could be important to other shows as we watch them.
Right.
For example, will we see Rex pop up in the Book of Boba Fett?
Yeah,
we might. We don't know because we know that Rex is living in that time as well, since the Book of Boba Fett is so close to the time that we're looking at with the Bad Batch.
Right.
So, and will we have a crossover? Because a lot of people think, well, the Bad Batch is specifically animated. Well, that could be the case. That could be true. But we have to take into account that Fennec Shan, she would cross over into the book, into the Bad Batch as an animated character. So if she's an animated character and a live action character, and they're living around the same times, it is possible that there could be a crossover, either animated or live action, of the Bad Batch in the Book of Boba Fett. So that could be something we could see a cameo of Boba Fett in the animated world, or we could see the Bad Batch crossover into the live action world. Yep. Look out for it. If it does, I'm so down for it. Please, it'll ultimately probably be easier for them to cameo in the Bad Batch. I think that would be the easier thing to do, as opposed to having to recast people to play those parts for the Bad Batch in particular, the Bad Batchers. It would be, I wouldn't want to cast those parts. Spend extra money casting those parts. So most likely what we would see is just like what they did with Ming Na Wen, where they had her voice act the part in the Bad Batch. Right. Temuera, he has a lot of he has a lot of experience in the voice acting aspect of his career as well. So it would be a really easy transition for them to make a crossover into the animated world on the Bad Batch. I would love to see that. Please.
Okay, so last up is the Star Wars Crimson Reign series announcement. Okay, so this is recently announced. So I actually didn't know about this until I had seen it, and I was like, oh snap.
Shoot, I still don't know about this.
Seriously. So this is new to both of us. So what do we know so far?
It's sort of like how everybody forgets that there's supposed to be a Hawkeye show coming up because nobody really cares.
That's true. Nobody really. That is true. Anyways, this is what we know so far. It's the sequel of the War of Bounty Hunters and the second part of the writer Charles Soule. The writer Charles Soule planned trilogy of Star Wars events.
Charles Soules.
You guys got the last name wrong, but it's all good. Anyways, so this is supposed to be a 5-part series starring Emilia Clarke's Cura. Okay, so this is what we know so far about the plot. We're supposed to see Cura come to power as the leader of Crimson Dawn criminal faction during the era between The Empire Strikes Back and the Return of the Jedi.
It's a throwback, basically. We're looking at Luke Skywalker time.
They going back with this one, y'all.
Well, technically it's not too far back. It's technically forward when you're being technical. But if you're talking about Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, you're going back to Luke Skywalker, which those movies technically came before episodes 1 through 3, which feature Anakin and Obi-Wan Kenobi. So you get what I'm saying? It's almost like they did the future first, and then they went to the past for the last 3, and then, you know, try to work their way from there. So technically, Kira's story, it technically is forward in the future from Boba Fett. Technically, it's a little bit further in the future from Boba Fett.
All right. So also, okay. So Charles hints that
man, those jokers really screwed up Star Wars, bruh. It makes everything so much more confusing.
And so Charles hints that Crimson Reign will reveal more information about why Kira went after Han Solo's carbonite frozen body, thus setting the events of War of Bounty Hunters in motion.
War of the Bounty Hunters in motion.
Yes, what he said.
So this is the quote from, you know, the guy.
Yeah.
While Kira plays a huge part in the War of the Bounty Hunters, that event is really a Boba Fett story. I have a bigger story I'm going to tell with Kira and the Crimson Dawn, and it's all connected to the reason she kicked off the War of the Bounty Hunters in the first place. You will learn more about that in the closing pages of War of the Bounty Hunters number 5, out in October. I think fans have no idea how exciting and new this story will feel. I like to hear it. Anytime you're talking about a story that a lot of people aren't familiar with, obviously this is something that's going to be coming out in comic book form soon in the future, or in comic form, not comic book.
Oh, so it's not animated. My bad, y'all. My mistake.
So I mean, it's most likely this is probably going to be one of the more exciting aspects. Like I said, because it's a story that a lot of people haven't examined. We know about the War of the Bounty Hunters. We all know about it. It's very common. It's a very common story. But why it started and everything like that, especially as it pertains to the Crimson Dawn, you know, we haven't really gotten that aspect of the story yet. What's key to me here is it says while Kira plays a huge part in the War of the Bounty Hunters, that event is really a Boba Fett story. So this might be something that we see in the Book of Boba Fett.
Right.
Therefore, this particular 5-part series will connect to the Book of Boba Fett.
Right. So even though this isn't necessarily a series that you can watch, it's still a good thing to know, which I'm happy that we still discuss this, because that's going to be really, and especially if you like reading comics and stuff like that, definitely you're going to want to make sure you check that out once it comes out, because that'll help to piece things together. You know what I'm saying? You'll see things really start to come together with that.
I mean, it's all connected. I mean, and that's why we're all excited about Star Wars and when Star Wars is right, when Star Wars is on point, everything's right in the world.
Right, seriously. Let us know what you think down in the comments, like what you think about these series. We know it was a mouthful, but I feel like it's a good thing we did everything at once, because some things didn't have as much information as others, but in this video we really get to just like piece it all together for you guys.
And if not, and we can still, like, if we wanted to, like in the future, divide it up. So when new news drops, we'll take like the 6-minute or 5-minute clip and then post it again, so that way you can sort of see it and brush up on it. So most likely we'll have videos in the future.
Right. So you're definitely going to want to keep a lookout. We'll keep you guys updated the more we learn about these new series, because there are a lot of them and we're excited to see what they do with them, especially when they start dropping trailers. That's what I'm really excited about. So we'll definitely keep you guys updated. If you're not subscribed, you really should subscribe.
Like, comment, share, subscribe.
Make sure you check out our last video for sure, because that one was a pretty good video. Really good information in that if you're an Avatar fan. So you're going to want to check that out.
Go check out my boy Prodyim on YouTube. That's PRODYIM. Got some amazing things over there on his channel.
Link will be down in the description.
Boom,
so
boom.
make sure you check that out as well. And we'll see you guys next time.
Post with a thumbnail.